What is up? This is week 2 of, they talked about it today. I call it PAFO, PAFO, PAFO. Maybe change the fucking name. I don't even know what it stands for. Pondoffs Anonymous Friends Only, Pondoffs Anonymous Fuck Off. Whatever it is, I'm just going to use the letters now because I think I pronounced it wrong. PAFO Plus. This is where I review PAFO. And last week was kind of short because Tim McKernan was on there for 3.5 hours. And the stories were great as always. I'm not kissing up to Tim. It's just he has great stories. So there really wasn't a lot to critique. But for people that think I don't listen to podcasts, I just listen to bits and pieces. No, I listen to the whole thing. Notes. So I know what they talked about so I can critique it. This week they reviewed my review of their review. If this gets to be a whole thing every week, it's going to be a review of a review of a review of a review of a review every week. So just listen to it. And as I said last week, it's all in fun. I love Jeff. I love Zoe. I love Chris. I love KG. So it's just, I have fun with it. Break up the monotony. That's what I do. And it's a good podcast. So there's things I will talk about and congratulate them on great topics. But I will find things that I need to pick apart. I did take notes. I can't remember a long-ass podcast. Now, I want to congratulate you guys this week and thank you for only going 2 hours. Because my days are getting longer now that I'm working 4 hours a week on after the morning after. That's a lot of time. So to listen to a 3.5 hour podcast and then have to do this, thank you for keeping it under 2 hours. I did enjoy the hair care products talk. Like to know what Zoe uses in her hair. Like to know what KG uses in her hair. Like to know what Chris uses on his bald head. No, I didn't care for that. I really don't care. Look at my fucking mop. I wet my hair every day so I can comb it, but I wash my hair every other day. So I'm making fun of it, but I'm getting into it. You don't need to wash your hair every day. Unless you're a construction worker, you're out there sweating and you're getting dust and stuff, then you have to do it every day. But if you just have a normal job, office job, whatever, or no job like me, 4 hours a week, once a week or once every other day is fine. They talked about Zoe singing at drug church, and I will say Zoe can sing. Zoe is fabulous. Her voice is tremendous. When she has a guitar behind her too, it's perfect. But Zoe can sing. So they talked about maybe doing a karaoke night at drug church. I think you should do that. Get people up to sing. Livens it up. People love singing at church. So yeah, Zoe can sing. At one point, I think you were talking about you were in a choir, church choir, and you would go on trips on a bus, and something in there about handies on the bus, and then you went right over that. I think you needed to delve more into that. That would have been a fun topic. Those 4 hour bus rides can be long. I took long bus rides in school. I never got a handy. Matter of fact, I never even got laid till I got out of high school. I had 500 women, and I didn't have my first girl until I was my first year of spring break, my first year in college. So I was a late bloomer. So I like to hear about handies on a bus trip. I never got one. And I do have a pet peeve. You were talking about drug church, and some guy brought desserts and said, I noticed you buy the desserts. I brought some dessert for you. I made it. Like if you know the guy, like if you're friends with him, Zoe, have at it. If I'm just sitting in church and I come out and say there's desserts here, who made them? Some guy. Nah, I'm not touching it. I would recommend not that he's probably a harmless guy. I'm sure he is. But if I don't know somebody, whether it's a guy or girl, whatever, I'm not eating anything somebody made that I don't know. Maybe they're in a bad mood that day. Some brownies. I don't know. So if I don't know somebody, I'm not eating their food. So hopefully you enjoyed it. But if I don't know somebody, I'm not eating their food. Can't do it. Um, I did enjoy the conversation. They're talking about wearing, and I'm sorry, I got the Ottawa Predators mixed up with the Nashville Predators. I don't follow hockey. So it was, you should have taken me down for that because it was the Nashville Predators, not Ottawa Predators, but I don't follow hockey. I really don't care. Um, but you're talking about wearing jerseys, um, and wearing especially concert shirts of the band that's playing. I've never done that. Once at a Runaways concert back in, God, I think 79. I had a album cover of Shuri Curie on their album, and I wore that, had it put on there and wore it, and she liked it. I took it off and gave it to her. Um, so I watched the show with no shirt on, but I wore a Runaways shirt to a Runaways concert. But I don't wear a lot of band shirts. But I think it'd be even weirder if you wore some other band, like if I'm going to see Green Day and I wear a Scorpion shirt. I don't know. It's not making fun of Green Day wearing somebody else's shirt, but I don't think I'd wear somebody's shirt to that concert. Now, what I really don't approve of, and that don't really bother me, what I don't approve of is when you dress up like the person. I'll give you two examples. I went to, and this review will be, I'll review the show, but if they have a topic I like, I'm going to jump into it. And this was one of them. But I don't like when you dress up like the person that you're going to see. I've seen it twice. I went and saw Pitbull a few years ago, and guys are coming dressed with a cap on that looks bald, and they're trying to look like Pitbull wearing a jacket. You don't look like Pitbull, first of all, isn't 5'4", 240. You can't pull it off, and you don't look anything like Pitbull. And then I saw it at Lady Gaga. All these girls dress up like Lady Gaga. A few guys dressed up like Lady Gaga too. Yeah, you can't do it. Don't try. Stevie Nicks, another one. Everybody comes dressed in the long flowing gowns and the shawls around there, and you can't look like Stevie Nicks either. So when you go to a concert, I don't care about the t-shirts. Don't dress up like the singer. It doesn't work. Let's go down the list here. Jeff was talking about dirty soda, which I didn't know what that was, but he explained you go to 7-Eleven and you can get your soda, but then right next to the soda is the coffee and the espresso, where you can make a dirty soda. And I don't know if it was Chris, somebody said, you can do that? Oh, yeah. The coffee stuff is right next to the soda. All right. Well, the peanut butter cups and the potato chips are right next to it, too. So I don't think I can get a soda and walk down and grab a bag of potato chips and a couple Reese's peanut butter bars because they're next to the soda and the coffee. Just because it's next to it doesn't mean you can use that in your soda. That's extra. You're cheating 7-Eleven, Doug, or Jeff. Don't do that. Because it's next to it doesn't mean it comes with it. Somebody, they were talking about, I didn't comment on Prod Joe's landing strip because I don't like Prod Joe. And I don't want to give him any pub. But I don't know if it was Zoe or asked if I had a landing strip. And KG was right the first time. He said, I think at one time he said he's smooth as a dolphin, but he thinks now that I'm probably full bush. No, I shave once a week. I don't want any hair down there. I don't even have hair under my arms. I shave my underarms. Why? I must as soon put right guard on with no hair under there. Because then, you sweat, the hair gets stuck to the deodorant. No, I shave everything. I mean, my legs and arms I don't, but I don't have any hair there anyway. So, yes, I have no bush. I have shaved. And my underarms shaved. And a little tip for the guys, too. If you shave, it makes it look bigger. It really does. If you have a big bundle of matted tufts there, it's covering up half of it. You shave it off, it looks bigger. A little tip for you guys. Yeah, I've already talked about the title. I know I mispronounced it, but I don't know what the fuck it is. That's why it's easier, like Chris said, just say PAFO, because I think it's PAFO, but there's an A in there. I call it PAFO. It doesn't have one of those little squiggly lines over it. If you want me to say PAFO or PAFO, Make the A long. PAFO. I don't know what I call. I don't know what I mess it up. If I call it PAFO or PAFO, whatever I say is wrong. So I'm just going to say PAFO. This is PAFO Plus. I'm trying to read my own writing because I'm listening to the podcast. I'm jotting down and I can't read my own writing. Oh, you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Jaws and teeth. You gave some initials for it. I don't know what it meant. And then Zoe was, that was another thing. Zoe was talking about lockjaw. And then Chris started talking about teeth and grind. I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. It was something I jotted down and then I just let it go because I don't know what you're talking about. Jaws and teeth and I don't know. Um, I did find out a few things here. I never knew that Apostle Paul was gay. That was news. I mean, look, I'm Catholic, but I never sat there and read the Bible. I couldn't name you a verse or a psalm or any of that. But I don't remember ever learning in St. Mary Magdalene, which was a Catholic grade school, and then I had to go a public high school. I had to go to like Christian day, or I had to go religion class once a week because I wasn't going to a Catholic grade school, so I had to go to religion class. I don't remember talking about Peter the Apostle was gay. I don't know. I know Mary Magdalene was a whore. I never knew that Paul the Apostle was gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I didn't even think they had gay people back then. Sure they did. We don't know about it. But according to Zoe, Paul the Apostle was gay. Then you were talking about threesomes. I think you have to participate in a threesome to talk about it. I have been in threesomes. But if you have a guy, and a girl, which is the more popular MMF, if you're not having sex with the guy, it's not gay. You know, you're a lot of guys. If the only way they're going to get a certain girl is if you know they have to have another guy in there. You know, if that's the case, well, have at it. But if you're not participating with the guy, now when I do it, I make sure that the guy just wants to watch. I don't want to participate with another guy. Make it a little close, cross swords. But I make sure when swingers want me to be part of their threesome that the guy just likes to watch. That's fine with me. I don't mind an audience. So but it's not gay if it's two guys and a girl. Maybe bisexual if he's rubbing the guy's neck while he's doing something. But I don't think it's gay. I don't think you have to be gay to have a MFF or an MMF. You don't have to be gay to participate in one. Could be gay. The guys start getting on and the girls participating, but it's, you don't have to be gay to have a threesome. What else did I write down here? It was only a 2-hour podcast. Again, I appreciate that you only went 2 hours. Cause I listen to the whole podcast. I have to in order to critique it. I'm not going to listen to 10 minutes and then act like I listened to the whole thing. And I think Chris did a good job. Chris threw some things in toward the end that said, I can't wait to hear Iggy talk about this. If I don't listen to the whole podcast, I wouldn't have heard that. And if I don't critique that, Chris says he didn't listen to the podcast because I told him to critique and he didn't. He didn't listen. So I go through the whole thing. I really do. I'm trying to think of what else I wrote down here. Oh, that's it. I went through the whole thing. You had some topics that I really don't need to critique because you guys had a fun time talking about certain things. Zoe at the gas station, being stalked by a guy who wouldn't leave, getting creeped out. That good topic. I have nothing to critique there. Certain topics you're going to have, I'm not going to critique because nothing I can add, and there's nothing wrong with the topic. So really, it's all your shows are good. I'm just going to find a few things and talk about it. And KG didn't listen to the podcast. I didn't really. All I talked about was it wasn't a shot at you. It was just your taking girls to Putt Shack all the time and you haven't hooked up with one. Now, you said that you don't go to get laid. That's fine. But if you're going to find someone to settle down with, or even go out a few times and have fun, that hasn't happened. So all I said was maybe it's taking him to Putt Shack. Maybe take him someplace else. Not a shot at you. So you can listen, and I really don't. That you used to take shots at me back in the day. I don't care. That's all water under the bridge. I don't care. So when I critique this thing and take a few shots at it, means nothing to anybody. I love all you guys. But all in all, I mean, there really wasn't a lot to critique this week, except for the few things I did, because you guys had some good topics. But I do admire KG not caring that he uses facial products. Nothing wrong with skincare. I admire you. I wish I would have. I have terrible skin because I never took care of my skin. So I admire you for using cucumbers and face masks and things like that. Nothing wrong with the guy wanting to take care of himself. Now, if you come to work one day in hair rollers and you're doing your nails and things like that, a little overboard. Skincare, there's nothing wrong with skincare. It's not a masculine thing. It's not a feminine thing. It's somebody takes care of themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like I shave all the hair off my body. Nothing wrong with that. Some people must say, oh, what kind of a guy shaves? A guy that doesn't want a lot of hair around his balls. That's a guy. That's the kind of guy that does that. And if you ever, when you hook up too, it's some girls like sucking balls. They don't want a mouthful of hair. Do it for the woman, if nothing else. I do it because it feels free. Just like when I go to Hito, I love laying out naked when I can. Can't here, but if I'm somewhere on a resort somewhere, I'm on an island that has a nude beach, I'm going. It's just more relaxing. Like, why would you wear a suit if you don't have to? You get out of the water, your trunks are all covered in water, they're all stuck to your legs, they're stuck in the crack of your ass, they're stuck to your balls. If you don't have to do that, why? That's my point. But shave. Just if you don't want a big bush down there, man, shave it off. Just try it. Be careful though. I use an electric razor. But you got to be careful because you nick that thing. I did it one time. I nicked my ball and it got infected. And man, I had one of my balls was the size of a grapefruit. I had to take antibiotics and luckily went down soon. But man, it looked like elephantitis. So just be careful when you're down there shaving. So that's pretty much it. That's all the topics that I wrote down in the 2-hour podcast. And it was a great podcast as always. A lot of information. You let Zoe shine this week. Zoe talked a lot this week, and I love that because Zoe is the star of that show. Zoe should talk more, and Zoe participated in a lot of things this week until she went out to take her pee halfway through. Then she was off for a few minutes. But Zoe's a star. Let Zoe shine. Anyway, great job, guys. Another great podcast. I'll be back next week. And if you can keep it right around 2 hours, that's great. You get into those 3-hour things, man. It's a long day for me. But I'm the one that offered to do this. So go as long as you want. But the 2 hours was good. You can even go an hour and a half. Hour and 15 minutes would be good too. Whatever you want to do. But anyway, and I hope this works. Because I was doing it on my phone and Jeff sent me this link, which is hooked up to Pondoffs Anonymous, where all I got to do is open the screen, hit record, and then hit stop recording, and it automatically sends to Jeff. And this is the first one I've recorded on this, so hopefully I didn't fuck it up and it works. But feel free to leave comments. Zoe was talking about her first hate comment. And, if you get a hate comment, that means you made it. In this business, you really don't want everybody to love you. You like to be liked by everybody, and, Iggy's a great guy. Zoe's so great. But if you get that hate one, that means you're reaching everybody. If you get hate comments and good comments, you're reaching a broad range of people. At least you're making them comment. They're listening. They're going to come back and listen again to hate listen. Without hate listeners, you have no ratings. You need people that hate your show to listen, as well as the people that love the show. So you can leave comments and say I'm a dick, or Iggy, I love it, or whatever. Any suggestions, I don't mind. But don't worry about if you get any hate comments, Zoe, because those are people that don't know you, and they're going to listen every week. So you keep doing what you're doing. Same with everybody. If you get hate comments, who gives a fuck? You know, you've made it if you got a hate comment. So anyway, that's this week's PAFO Plus. Change the fucking name to something. Anyway, that's it. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you next week. See ya.